Hey guys, today's story is about a familiar GM telling players how they can't play their class. So a few weeks ago, I made this post about a DM I briefly played with pigeonholing me as a rogue needing to be an evil thief. Well, I actually stole some players from that group shortly after I left, and they tell me stories fitting of this sub from the same DM before I showed up. I got permission from them to share some of their stories, so I'll periodically get them typed up when I have time. This story happened when the group got together shortly after 5e first came out. The group was mostly newer players except the DM from my other post. Two of the players are co-workers and friends of mine, a paladin and a cleric, who come from the same faith. Another player, who is also a that guy bard. Then there is a fighter. The fighter is completely new to TTRPGs at this point and was invited by my friends. He was enthusiastic to try, but the DM eventually ruined that for him. So the party had been tasked with clearing out an undead infestation in a nearby village, mostly skeletons and zombies, as this is a low-level party. Combat goes well, and the fighter even gets to roleplay a dramatic killing blow on the boss, which was a slightly buffed-up zombie. So everyone is having fun at this point. The party returns to their quest giver to collect a reward. The fighter attempts to begin speaking with the quest giver, but is interrupted by the bard, who goes into a long spiel about their brave heroics. The party explains to the fighter that this is sort of what bards do, and they just let him have it. Honestly, not so bad at this point. Then as they are going into town to spend their gold, every interaction with the NPCs and the fighter are cut down short so the bard can do the talking for him. When the fighter and the other players protest, the bard and DM both point to his stat sheets saying, "Look at his 18 charisma compared to your 10. He's the best choice to talk to people. Just trying to help you, since you're the fighter." The paladin and cleric protest as well, but are shut down. So the bard does all the talking for the fighter, and the party gets to sit and watch the bard and DM act out several transactions, where the bard gets discounts based on his rolls before finally long resting in an inn before moving on. Next session, the party goes to a bigger nearby town to start a questline, dealing with a few corrupt town council members trying to bring down the political structure and take over for themselves. At some point, the baddies figure out that the party is now onto them and send a few assassins to take them out. The paladin and cleric are together when they are attacked, and win easily enough. The bard talks his way out of a fight by persuasion and bribery, but when the fighter rolled good on perception and was able to prepare for the incoming enemy, he attempted something similar. He offered some coin and attempted to persuade the assassin to leave, but the DM refused to even allow a check, because fighters don't talk, just roll initiative. So the fighter, looking deflated from having his attempts to roleplay denied, fights the assassin, and wins. Stuff like this happened for a few more sessions before the fighter just stopped coming. The DM wouldn't even let him roll to help the party with traps or puzzles, because that isn't what fighters do. So yeah, the fighter leaves, and that campaign fizzles out. This story came up recently because they got back in touch with Fighter, and he sounds interested in joining the game I run now, since the other DM isn't involved. So we may be able to recover him back into the ways of the dice. Well guys, as of making this video, this is the second and last story based on this particular GM that the OPS wrote. I imagine that there's quite a few more stories to tell on this GM and his antics. But without further ado, that's the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed. Have a good one.